Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. So today guys, we'll be checking out Douglas Murray exposes media smear of London protest. You guys, I'm excited, and without further ado, let's see what this video is all about.
Joining me now is the author of international bestsellers, including The Strange Death of Europe, The Madness of Crowds, The War on the West, and his latest on democracies and death cults. Douglas Murray, before we dive into today's issues, I last spoke to you just a couple of hours after Charlie Kirk's murder. How do you see his legacy? He was only 31, but the impact he had on politics, on campus culture, and the wider culture was enormous.
Yes, it was. And there's been such an outpouring in the last week almost since his assassination that it just really embeds that fact. The President, Donald Trump, the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and many others have been incredibly involved in the aftermath, in the case of all of these people, consoling Charlie Kirk's widow and family, and much more, and awarding him posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Perhaps as importantly, there have also, of course, been, I wouldn't say demonstrations, more gatherings around the world, across America, in London, as far afield as South Korea, of people paying tribute to Charlie Kirk. And that's been an incredible thing to see, actually, a huge outpouring. Charlie Kirk said that when he was asked how he wanted to be remembered, which is a rather scary thing in hindsight to think that somebody just out of his 20s was fairly often asked.
Yeah.
He wanted to be remembered for his faith, for his Christian faith. And it's really telling, I think, and a fine tribute to him that the people who have been gathering in tribute to him have not done so in the sort of way that certain sections of society do, by causing businesses to have to board up their shop windows and so on. No, very far from it. They've been gathering in prayer and in vigil, and that's really been an incredibly moving thing to see.
Wow, I love Charlie Kirk so much, because I don't know how many people will say the same thing Charlie Kirk said when he was asked how he wants to be remembered, and the only thing that he gave as a response was that he wants to be remembered by his faith in Christ. Like, a lot of people will never go through that route, or that would never cross their mind. Lots of people will want to be remembered by maybe being rich, or the name they left behind, or their family name. I don't even know how to say this, but I don't think this is what will cross any 20-something years old mind. Being remembered by their faith in Christ. It's just so beautiful to know that that was what he wanted people to remember him by. And like I said in my previous video, after Charlie Kirk's death, a lot of people are waking up in their Christian faith, and a lot of others are actually renouncing their faith, or in whatever they believe in, so accepting Christianity as their new religion because of the impact Charlie Kirk has left on the world. This is so beautiful to watch, that a 20-something years old man wants to be remembered by his faith in Christ. Like, it will never cross the mind of people, if you ask me. And wow,
it's beautiful for me to hear that, because even me, let me not lie about that, even if I'm being asked that kind of question, I don't think I'll give such answer. He was a very wise man.
Yeah,
for him to give that response, he was a wise man,
wise beyond his age. Yeah,
he was.
Let's continue watching, you guys.
Now, Douglas, President Donald Trump has arrived in the UK to meet with King Charles. He'll be spending the night at Windsor before meeting Keir Starmer at the Prime Minister's residence. This is a historic visit, the first time a US president has had two state visits to the UK while in office. Douglas, there's going to be plenty of pomp and pageantry. There will be further trade talk. What else do you expect to see from this visit? Will President Trump bring up those huge anti-mass immigration protests we've just seen in London?
It's possible that he will. President Trump has been asked about this visit and has stressed that it's really about the king in the royal family. And that's clearly his own passion in accepting this visit, is his passion for the country of his mother's birth, and for the United Kingdom,
mom is from the UK.
And especially for the monarchy.
That's
He has met Keir Starmer, of course, a number of times since coming back into office. It's an uneasy relationship in lots of ways, and you can see that. Keir Starmer's politics really couldn't be further away from those of President Trump. But on the other hand, the UK needs good trade relations with the US. President Trump and the Trump administration has been pretty generous so far in that, in those negotiations. And I would expect it to go smoothly. And I would imagine, given recent events in America, maybe, just maybe, the domestic anti-Trump left in the UK might keep their usual sort of rude protests down. You'll remember that last time President Trump went to the UK, people like the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, tried to make it all about themselves, allowed protesters to, I mean, it was within the law, but I mean, sort of insult the guest of the United Kingdom. I imagine there might be a little bit less of that this time. It's hard to say at the moment.
Well, on those protests across, London, certainly, the crowd number there was enormous. But these protests have been variously described by the media as far right and extremist, white nationalists. But let's hear from a couple taking part who challenge those narratives.
What's your names? Why are you here today?
I'm Anne. That's Andrew, my husband. We want our children to be able to speak without being persecuted or being arrested. We don't want them to have tweets on X or anything else and being criminalized for thoughts. I think everybody should be able to speak.
And Douglas, let me play you the experience of this next woman, a black woman in a hijab, who attended the march expecting to be abused.
I'm going to the September 13th protest and seeing how many times I get called go back to Africa. Oh no. Oh no.
But let's see what actually happened and what she had to say after.
I went to the Tommy Robinson protest on September 13th and it was fine. I also went alone as well. I met my friend like 2 hours later in central London, but I was by myself and I went straight into the belly of the beast and I saw nothing but peaceful people, respectful people. I was even interviewing them. I asked them in my last TikTok. They're actually good people, and I knew I shouldn't have been afraid. I was never ever going to be afraid because I grew up with English people. I grew up with white people, and they've been nothing but polite, respectful. That's their culture, politeness, Britishness. The issue is a lot of minority cultures for them have become the predominant culture in areas of the UK like London, Liverpool, Manchester, Luton, to the point that these towns and cities become unrecognisable.
Douglas, she gets it better than 95% plus of the media.
Yeah, I mean, good for her in one way. I mean, it's sort of absurd that in the country she lives in, she thinks there's a kind of belly of the beast, which is a protest like this. Good for her for acknowledging that she was wrong and was misjudging
there are some protests they do,
countrymen and women.
It turns to chaos for black people.
It's an astonishing thing to see this, Rita, because Tommy Robinson's Unite the Kingdom protest gathered a very large number of people in the centre of London, at least 100,000, probably significantly more than that. It's always hard to say with these protests. As always say they're larger and the police always say they're smaller. But it was a very much more peaceful event than any of the media wanted to admit it might be, or indeed in the end was. There were some arrests, but infinitely fewer than, let's say, that great celebration of multicultural, diverse London, the Notting Hill Carnival, where there are always dozens of arrests and stabbings and sexual assaults and so on. The Tommy Robinson Unite the Kingdom event went off peacefully. It went off positively. I watched a relay of the what happened from the stage. It wasn't anything like a white supremacist, white nationalist thing. There was a black gospel choir. There were some.
If this kind of protest was held in Nigeria, I think the Nigerian youth, or let's say Nigerian people, aside from the youth, they'll be willing to come out in these kind of numbers, without some people not wanting to drop back and saying it doesn't concern me, like they usually they use that term always in Nigeria.
Like, it's none of
my business. I don't think, what will I do now that will change the country? Like sometimes when a large crowd like this comes out, and
it always end up in chaos.
But there's no chaos here. It's well controlled. Like kudos to whoever organized this. Like, it can never happen in my country. I'm telling you. If 20,000 people comes out to protest in Nigeria, best believe that there's
tear gas everywhere.
They will tear gas everybody. Like, some people will even end up losing their lives. So kudos to Tommy Robinson, or whatever his name is. He really did such a tremendous job, and I must applaud him for that. Like, such a peaceful protest, I must add.
Maoris doing one of their, the chants and things, and the haka, and it was all very good natured. Some of the speakers talked about the things that clearly are worrying my fellow Brits. I mean, things like, yes, the mass illegal migration, the fact that people who describe themselves as white British are finding themselves to be a minority in every major English city. That's a big one. I mean, that's not like an imaginary fear. That's just something that has actually happened without their asking for it. In fact, asking for it not to happen for generations now. There was a significant expression of concern about the rape gangs in the north of England, and indeed across all of England, and much more. But it was all it was very peaceable. And one of the things that's striking about it all, Rita, is not just the misrepresentation of it, but the fact that it would be actually very hard to imagine Keir Starmer, for instance, being able to raise any kind of mobilized, group of people for a positive celebration of Britishness in this way. There were bishops of the Church of England who all came out to condemn the event. But one of the things notable about it was the prevalence of Christianity in it. There was a bishop from a rather minority sect who opened with a prayer, and there were calls for Christian revival at the event, all of which was very interesting. But isn't it fascinating that at this time when it's clearly a need in Britain for a positive vision of the country, for pride in the country, and much more, so much of the almost all of the political class, almost all the media, and everyone else doesn't want to be within a million miles of these people, and indeed doesn't even speak to these people. And good for that girl you just showed for realizing that actually if they did speak to most of these people, they would realize they're not some sort of trolls you can't approach, who are dangerous, white supremacist, nationalist, Nazi, KKK, etc., etc. They're decent people who want their country to revive itself and not to fall into this appalling despond that it's currently in.
Oh my gosh, you guys, that was such an interesting one from Douglas Murray. I always love to listen to Douglas Murray because he says it as it is. And I love the fact that the hijabi girl actually attended to see for herself, because what the media portrays is false narrative. And I must say it over and over again that if this kind of protest that pulled this amount of crowd happened in some countries, best believe that there's going to be chaos. This particular protest, despite the amount of people that came out, it was the most peaceful thing ever. There were black people there, there were white people there, and nothing like white supremacy going on in there. Like the media will always make you believe. And this is so good. Let me know what you guys, and some countries actually needs to emulate what the UK is doing.
The same protest happened here in Nigeria, and they started peacefully, although that was their main plan. They came for peaceful protest, but it turns out to be chaos. It was not protest anymore. A lot of people passed away. That day is the day Nigeria will never forget.
Do you know that every 20...
Is it 22nd?
22nd.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong.
Every 22nd of October. There's always
a memorial day for people.
Police are always there.
Most people do go there to light candles again for memorials. Yeah,
okay.
Most people do.
So that's why the police are always there.
Yes,
because
case.
I always pass there like every 22nd of October or thereabout, maybe 22nd or 23rd.
Yeah, any of those days.
I always pass there. So anytime I pass there, I see that
they don't. Most people do come back to do memorials.
Police are always
even
there.
from online. So maybe that day people do post that day.
And that protest, I don't even know if they were up to 20,000 youths that were there, but
even celebrities went there too.
Yes, now
it was when that chaos started that a lot of them had to run.
Some of them were arrested though. Some celebrities were arrested. A lot of youths lost their lives, just for small protests, small peaceful protests that later escalated to something else. And
in Nigeria, there's nothing like peaceful protest because no matter at the end of the day, police will come in and chaos
and start spraying tear gas.
Yeah.
So when the youth now revolt, you understand?
It looks as
if maybe they are against
the
police.
government.
I really commend the UK for such a peaceful protest. I don't know, like Douglas Murray said, there were about 100,000 people, but the media was saying there are up to 3 million people that actually came out. Because when I saw the area view,
it was more than what that. I think it was more than because the multitude they were really much. They pulled out for that protest,
and there was no fight, no nothing. Like kudos to them, kudos to Tommy Robinson. Is that his name?
Yeah,
the person that organized the protest. Like he really did such a great job. Like the police, everybody that were involved, they really did themselves with this one. I hope that what they came out to protest for will eventually happen for them. You understand?
Yeah.
Because a country where the people come out to protest, they're actually seeking for a change. You understand? Because if you are protesting, there's something you are protesting for. Definitely a change. And the country where I come from is not always like that. You protest and protest and protest, and
nobody will
listen to you. It might even end in people losing their life, in chaos, or then shutting down schools and everything. And at the end of the day, the thing that people came out to protest for will still remain the same. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.